Hope everybody has their questions ready. All we have today.
It's so spacious. We don't have any proclamations. Well, that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah, we don't have proclamations tonight. I hereby proclaim.
Pursuant to Section 5, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, this is to state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting on the bulletin board, by posting and maintaining the annual notice of regular meetings on the bulletin board of the municipal building, by mailing the annual notice of regular meetings for 2025 to the News Record and Star Ledger in December of 2024, and by filing said notice in the office of the Township Clerk. Yes.
Mr. Daffis,
Present.
Mr. DeLuca,
Here.
Ms. Engel,
Here.
Ms. Herman,
Here.
Mayor Adams.
Here.
Whereas Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, commonly known as the Open Public Meetings Act, requires that all meetings of public bodies be open to the public. And whereas Section 7A provides that the governing body has the discretion to permit, prohibit, or regulate the active participation of the public at any meeting. And whereas it is the desire of the governing body to comply with the provisions of this act, and at the same time to conduct this business in an orderly and expeditious manner.
Who says that?
Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Maplewood that it does hereby prohibit, except as set forth in the formal agenda, active participation in the deliberations of the governing body by the public, and except as otherwise prescribed by law, does limit the public to observation on the actions and discussions of the governing body at all of its regular and special meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca?
Yes.
Ms. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes. Thank you. Please rise for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monday, November 17th meeting of the Maplewood Township Committee. Tonight we have no proclamations or anything, so we'll start with public comment on agenda items only. Then we move on to a few ordinances on for final passage. We have no new ordinances. Then we will move to reports from departments, administrative reports, business administrator, township attorney, and township clerk. The clerk's report was included in the agenda and can be found, is linked on the agenda if you have it electronically. Reports from elected officials. We'll start off with Committee Member DeLuca, Deputy Mayor Herman, Committee Member Engel, Committee Member Daffis, and then mine. Discussion items, we have a few on for tonight. We have a historic preservation element of the master plan. Mr. DeLuca will lead that discussion, as he will for the 2025 demographic survey of boards and committees. We have Deputy Mayor Herman will be discussing prohibiting smoking in outdoor cafes and eateries. And then Mr. DeLuca will lead reducing speed limit on Springfield Avenue from 35 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour, as discussed at Engineering Public Works. And then Deputy Mayor Herman will discuss allowing the Community Service Director discretion to give Maplewood residents priority in registering for certain programs or events. Then we have the consent agenda, second public comment on any subject matter, and then we will adjourn. So with that, I will invite anyone who is in the house or on Zoom who wants to address the Township Committee on agenda items only to please come to the microphone or raise your hand on Zoom.
If anyone joining on Zoom would like to speak in public portion on agenda items, please raise your hand now. I see no hands, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I see no one in the room wanting to comment. So with that, we'll move to ordinances on final passage. The first one being 6A 3174-25, I almost said Mr. Amari.
Ordinance number 3174-25, an ordinance amending chapter 155 of the Township Code entitled Jitneys, Commuter Parking, and chapter 257 entitled Vehicles and Traffic to revise certain fees for the Jitney Pass, commuter parking, and the Jitney/parking combination pass. This ordinance will increase the annual Jitney Pass fee, the commuter parking fee, and the Jitney/parking combination fee beginning January 1st, 2026.
All right. This ordinance has been published, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the public in accordance with the law. Can I get a motion on this ordinance, Mr. DeLuca? Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. I'll open the hearing on this ordinance. At this time, anyone in the room or on Zoom who would like to speak to this ordinance, please raise your hand now or come up to the mic.
I see no hands on Zoom, Mayor.
And no one in the room either, Mr. Wary. So may I get a motion, Mr. DeLuca?
I move this ordinance be adopted as a whole and the clerk be directed to publish the same as a passed ordinance in the Maplewood South Orange News Record according to law.
I second it.
Roll call?
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca?
Yes.
Ms. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes, thank you. Next ordinance on for final, 3178-25.
Ordinance number 3178-25, an ordinance amending and supplementing chapter 257 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood entitled Vehicles and Traffic to establish a new Article 8 entitled Bicycle Lanes. This ordinance will establish a new article governing bike lanes within chapter 257 of the Township Code, Vehicles and Traffic.
This ordinance has been published, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the general public in accordance with the law. I'm opening the hearing for this ordinance on second reading. Is there anyone in the room or on Zoom who would like to speak to this ordinance?
I see no hands on Zoom, Mayor.
And no one in the room, so I will take a motion, Mr. DeLuca.
Mayor, I move this ordinance be adopted as a whole and the clerk be directed to publish the same as a passed ordinance in the Maplewood South Orange News Record according to law.
Second it.
Roll call?
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca?
Yes.
Ms. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Next ordinance on for final, 3179-25.
Ordinance number 3179-25, an ordinance amending chapter 257 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood entitled Vehicles and Traffic with respect to parking restrictions and stopping and standing. This ordinance will amend chapter 257 of the Township Code to identify portions of Parker Avenue and West Parker Avenue where parking will be prohibited, as well as identify portions of Parker Avenue where stopping and standing will be restricted during certain times on school days.
This ordinance has been published, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the general public in accordance with the law. I'm opening the hearing on this ordinance. Is there anyone in the room or on Zoom who would like to speak to the Township Committee about this ordinance for consideration?
There are no raised hands on Zoom, Mayor.
And no one in the room, so I'll take a motion, Mr. DeLuca.
I move this ordinance be adopted as a whole and the clerk be directed to publish the same as a passed ordinance in the Maplewood South Orange News Record according to law.
I second it.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca?
Yes.
Ms. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Last ordinance on for final, 3180-25.
Ordinance number 3180-25, an ordinance amending chapter 257 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood entitled Vehicles and Traffic with respect to various streets and establishing type P parking permits. This ordinance will establish a new type P parking permit for residents of West Parker Avenue from Maplewood Avenue to Valley Street and Parker Avenue from Valley Street to Boyden Avenue and amend parking regulations on various roads in Maplewood with respect to use of such permit.
Okay, I will, oh, sorry, the ordinance has been published. Copies posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building and copies made available to the general public in accordance with the law. I'm opening the hearing on this ordinance on final passage. Is there anyone in the room or on Zoom who would like to speak to this ordinance? Anyone on Zoom, Mr. Wary?
There are no hands on Zoom, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So I will take a motion on this, Mr. Chair of Engineering Public.
We should say that this is the third of three ordinances that will finally establish the Parker Avenue bike lane. We started the process 8 months ago and voting, and
We didn't-
striping will begin on November 24th.
Okay.
So with that, I move this ordinance be adopted as a whole and the clerk be directed to publish the same as a passed ordinance in the Maplewood South Orange News Record according to law.
I second it.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca?
Yes.
Ms. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes, thank you. That we had moved to our reports already. Mr. Wary, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. Two items. One, they will be our contract, or not our contract, New Jersey American Water's contractor will be paving Parker Avenue tomorrow between Maplewood Avenue and Prospect Street. So we put out notice last week regarding their milling on Friday, and it had included with that paving tomorrow. So the public's aware. We'll put out another nixle tonight and likely tomorrow morning. But just to make everybody aware, that will happen tomorrow in anticipation of the striping that'll happen next week. And then I just want to recognize on the agenda tonight is a $1,000 donation of food gift cards from GPI, Greenman Peterson, who is a contract engineer for the township. And we just want to make sure that they get acknowledged for that. We'll also send them a thank you note after the meeting.
That's very nice of them.
Yes.
Yes, our planning board and zoning board engineer? I guess so, right?
I believe, yes.
Okay.
And they do township
We'll
work.
thank them down at Lee. Okay, that's all. Any questions for our administrator? Seeing none, we'll move on to attorney, Mr. Didio.
Very brief report, Mayor. Obviously, a lot of people will be attending the municipalities conference this week. There are a number of excellent sessions, including several on open public records, open public meetings, and at least 3 that I can think of that Maplewood representatives and officials are the charge. I will be speaking at 2:00 on Wednesday on pilots. Please come heckle me.
Sure.
Word.
We can do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Report, Mayor.
Is your law firm doing a session on how to eat shrimp?
Gosh,
Brief one.
that was so random.
Brief one. Brief shrimp?
Brief.
Brief shrimp.
Let's be
Include,
curious.
is that are you guys having a party?
Maybe. Like,
My goodness.
That's where you get the lesson. You have to go to the party. Got it. Any questions for our attorney besides that?
What other events are Maplewood and Maplewood people involved in?
yes, that is a great question, Mayor, Committeeman DeLuca.
I look forward to hearing.
I believe Mr. DeLuca is on a
Doing a,
street utility.
no, I'm doing a session on municipal buildings for the 21st century, speaking about the library and
Nice.
being an all-electric building.
Cool. And I'm doing the needs of residents in different towns who are food insecure and what we've done in Maplewood. That's a sustainable Jersey and I'll be joined by our health director, Candace. So that's on Thursday at 10, I think, ish, whatever.
Ms. Davenport's also speaking on Tuesday on statewide.
Yep.
Oh.
So 4. I feel like I'm forgetting one, but I'll probably hear about it if I don't show up. All right, no questions for you. Thank you. We'll see you down there. And our clerk submitted a report that was in the agenda, a very thorough report. Did you have anything else you would like to add?
I have nothing else.
Wouldn't it be nice if our township committee members muted their phones?
Speak on that because then my phone will probably go off. But I have nothing else to add to the report.
Any questions for our clerk's office? All right, thank you for pinch hitting tonight while Liz Fritzen went down to Atlantic City early. With that, we'll move on to reports from elected officials. Committeeman DeLuca.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to announce that the Maplewood Memorial Library received a National Design Award 2025 from the Society of American Registered Architects. That was down in DC on Saturday night. And it was the library and our architect, Sage and Coombs. So we keep getting awards.
Oh, we're going to get so many awards.
Yes, yes. Wonderful.
I just want to give a couple updates from the Engineering, Public Works, and Planning Committee. We talked about expanding our recycling collection starting in January. Right now, we collect 1, 2, and 5 plastics. We are going to expand that 1 through 7. And we'll be doing a public information campaign prior to January. So after the new year, you can put all your plastic into your recycling. Pedestrian safety is always something that we talk about. I just want to give you an update. We will be installing high-intensity pedestrian crossing signs with the high-intensity light at Boyden Avenue and Jacoby Street. That'll be done this month, I believe. And then in 2026, we will be installing the high-intensity beacons at pedestrian crossings at Colgate and Tuscan, and also Tuscan and Oakland. We've received a number of concerns about the speed of traffic on Tuscan and the ability to cross the street to get to the library and to the park. So we'll be, we have exhausted our traffic calming budget for 2025, and we will be installing those in 2026. And then I mentioned earlier that we will be starting the striping on Parker Avenue bike lanes on November 24th. There's some concrete work that's being done now to expand the crosswalks along Parker, and that's taking place. And then by Thanksgiving, we should have the bike lanes in, and then our ordinances will complement that, and we'll be getting signs put up and everything. Hopefully by beginning of December, we'll be ready to rock and roll. I want to give an update from public safety. We will be talking about the speed limit a little later. But I did want to say that we do an analysis every month of our crime statistics. And January through September, we are down 30% in incidents of crime from 2024. In 2024, at this time, at the end of September, we had 240 incidents of crime. In 2025, we're under 200, 197. And so we really are reducing it, and want to thank the officers. In addition, we've been talking to the police about stepping up their enforcement of traffic and pedestrian safety. And they have increased the moving violations from last year to this year by 689, which is a 43% increase. I know no one wants a moving violation, but I'll tell you, each of us can attest to the amount of calls and emails we get about the speeding traffic and the people who just disregard crosswalks and the safety of our pedestrians. So we have asked our police to step up enforcement, and they have responded positively. Vehicle stops are up by 24%. That's 785 additional stops from last year. So I want to thank the Chief Sally and the police department for their efforts, and we'll continue to do what we can on the public safety front. And that's all I have, Mayor.
I totally agree with that. Aside from the number of emails and calls we get about pedestrian safety and speeding and disregarding traffic and driving rules, we spend a lot of hours in subcommittees talking about exactly that and trying to solve stuff, but we can't engineer everything. So we engineer what we can, and we need to step up enforcement where we can. So I don't think there's anyone who disagrees on this governing body. So with that, I'll ask if anyone has any questions for Mr. DeLuca. Seeing none, we'll move on to Deputy Mayor Herman. You're up.
Great. Thank you very much. So we had our Health and Community Services and Arts and Culture Committee meeting earlier this week. And a couple of things from that committee are on for discussion. Something that is coming up. We are also looking at venue rental fees at our facilities. So you'll see that soon. I wanted to, since it's November and it's the month of Thanksgiving, look around town for the Gratitude Project. Many of our businesses are taking part in this wonderful program that was started by our very own Candace Davenport and has spread across the country. And we have 30 registered businesses nationwide. A lot of them, most of them are in Maplewood, South Orange, but we're so excited. These businesses will have pens. You can write what you're grateful for. So take some time and see if you can find some of these businesses and do that. It's really a meaningful project. Also, our senior art exhibit at 1978 opened this weekend. I think Miss Ingle and myself got a chance to see the art, and I was impressed, and I had a great time hearing about how some of these pieces came to be, like what trips or what houses inspired them. So there will be, it's 2 to 5 p.m. this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And then the following weekend, November 29th, will be Small Business Saturday. So check that out. The prices are very reasonable, except for the ones that don't want to sell. They put high prices.
Take what you pay.
And then I did also want to mention our Hanukkah celebration. I had previously announced Sunday, December 14th, so I want to correct the record. It will be happening on Tuesday, December 16. And this is very exciting, and it will be at Reckleton Square. And so please make a note of that. And 6 p.m. Tuesday, December 16 at 6 p.m. So you can remember it that way. And that will be a wonderful community event. And finally, we held our All Access Committee meeting this month. And we've been meeting every month. And the committee asked me to, at my report outs, share with you about our meeting so that you know what we've been talking about. And I just wanted to let you know that we've been meeting with department heads. We had DPW come and meet with us, community services, arts and culture, health. We also have had some stakeholders from the disability community come and meet with us. And the committee is looking at programming, events, things like a walkability study, things like a website to sort of explain what accessibility features we have in every building so that people who come to our facilities know. For example, if you came to Town Hall, how would people know that our access is, is right over here? It'd be nice to be able to have, these kind of directions. And this is something that came up when we had our public meeting about the all access playground, which we're very excited, it's moving along. Because, for residents to be able to see like photos and like videos and, people that are coming, just sort of like to see what to expect. That really helps a lot of people to see what to expect when they get there. So that's something that we talked a lot about. And so a lot of really good ideas coming out of the committee. They can't wait to share them with you as we continue on toward our report. And that's my report.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Deputy Mayor? Seeing none, we'll move on to Committeewoman Engel.
Thank you. I will just add, to Deputy Mayor Herman, that senior art show was like beyond incredible. I was really impressed by some of the people, and I ran into artist Maria, who's running the Windows for Women this year. And so she wanted me to just shout out that they're looking for artists to sign up to have their art displayed in the Windows for Women. And there's, I believe, going to be a show at the library following it. So it's a really good opportunity. The deadline is December 8th. There's a form. It's sites.google.com/view/Windows for Women 2026, a mouthful, but if you also just search for it, you'll be able to find it. And so December 8th is the deadline for artists to apply. And once the artists sign on, they will go out to businesses. And she's hoping that we have all the businesses in Maplewood filled with our local art. So it's exciting. And other than that, I went to lots of meetings with Mr. DeLuca, so he covered it all.
There you go.
That's my report.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's for Women's History Month in March.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, can we get that out to the community of artists, please? The website where people can sign up would be helpful. Because I don't think anybody.
I know, it's a very long, it's a
Yeah.
form, it's a Google form, and I guess you do have to sign into your Gmail account. So I'm going to follow up with her to see if we can make it. So if you don't have a Google
Yeah.
account, you can still fill out the form.
Yeah, some sort of link, and we can share that through the seniors who are doing the art programs too, so that they can do it. So, yeah. Great. Any questions for Ms. Engel? No. Okay. Mr. Daffus, you're up.
Thanks, Mayor. Two quick items. From the Maplewood Arts Advisory Council, we, as I talked about, reported previously, we put together a survey to engage the community about how we use our facilities for arts programming and cultural engagement. That is now available for folks to use. And I asked the Administrator Wary to help us get that out there, put it on the website, and maybe use our communication channels to get it out there. So this is an opportunity for folks to honestly engage and do so anonymously, to let us know what you think about how we use our facilities. Are our events accessible? Are they meaningful? Are they economically accessible? Should we be doing more cultural engagement, less cultural engagement? Are we using one facility more than other facilities? Where could there be improvements? Again, you can engage with us anonymously, and we ask that that you participate, because it's a great opportunity for us to get some data about usage and utilization of our facilities and do better to serve the community in the ways that we need to serve. The second report is about our Municipal Equality Index rating. So as I reported before, the Human Rights Campaign, which is a national organization that tracks and rates every city and town in the nation as it relates to their inclusivity and diversity and welcoming status for the LGBTQ community. They've been doing this for years now. And we certainly pursued a rating because we know that we are an inclusive and diverse community. And we received initial notice. We haven't received our final rating, but received our initial notice that we are very close to a perfect score of 100. I'm not going to tell you how many points away we are, but it's so, so close. Like we could see that 100 mark finish line. I've been working very closely. I need to give a strong shout out and salute to Deputy Clerk Allah for his outstanding and comprehensive work in putting the application process together. It was a lot of stuff to put together over a long period of time. So we have an opportunity to cure what the HRC sees as opportunities for us to gain a point here and there. And we're doing that right now before we get our final number. And we're hoping, fingers crossed and toes crossed, that we get the full 100 points before the end of the year. So that's my report.
Anything we should know about what we need to do to get those last few points?
Well, we argue that we are already doing the things and we should get full credit. And there's some discrepancy. It has to do with our healthcare policy. Does it explicitly cover transgender affirming healthcare and support and some things like that? There are bigger things that we can do that would be heavier lifts that would put us way over the perfect score of 100, like putting together a Human Rights Commission, which we can't do in the next several weeks before the year is over. But I do think we're going to keep fighting. And I thank you again, Deputy Clerk, a lot for your patience with me, because I know I have been pushing. Well, let's go back to them. Let's go back to them. Let's go back to them and negotiate. And hopefully we'll get those remaining points. But we really are very close to the perfect score.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Duff? Seeing none, I just have one item on, and asking for my colleagues' support to pass a resolution tonight that Ms. Cordelia will draw up based on a template for us to officially be recognized by Revolution, New Jersey, which is the Revolution, New Jersey community. And this, I think there are 100 municipalities signed up so far, and other organizations. And it's basically to join on, sign on to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our great nation. So there's just ways to promote heritage. We're talking, a lot of it's about historical things. So we're going to ask Duran Hedden to kind of lead the charge on things with regard to historical aspect of the 250th anniversary. So does anyone have any problems with signing up for that? Deputy Mayor, you good?
I'm good, and I support that.
Good.
Good, okay. All right, then I forwarded you a sample resolution. So do we need to take a roll call on that? Yes. So I'll move it. Mr. Daffis? Yeah.
Second.
Oh, it's loud.
Oh, okay. Did I move it? I moved it. Okay, we have a second.
Don't you move?
I moved it, but I was expecting you to second it, but then
Oh, it's all good. It's all
he
good.
was louder, so he gets.
It's all good.
Mr. Dappis?
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca?
Yes.
Ms. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes, thank you. That's my report. So if no questions for me, we'll move on to discussion items. We'll start with the historic preservation element of the master plan, Mr. DeLuca.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The Historic Preservation Commission has been working with a consultant, Barton Ross and Partners, in preparing the historic preservation element of the master plan. This is the 2025 edition. Last time we did this was 17 years ago in 2008, so it's we're 17 years older, and it's reflected in the plan. It basically really lays out a lot about the history of our community. It's just fascinating, the reading. It talks about architects and various styles of architecture. It lists a number of homes, and I know Mr. Weary pointed this out when he sent it out to everyone. We've really expanded the number of homes that are listed to, I believe it's over 1,000.
1,200.
Yeah.
So these are homes that have some distinguishing characteristics. They're around town. There's also very good descriptions of historic districts or potentially historic districts, Ridgewood, Valley, Gulf Island, College Hill. These are unique areas in town that really lend themselves to thinking about some type of preservation. So This plan was presented to the planning board in draft. There's a few tweaks that are going to be made, and then it's going to go back to the planning board for December action. We don't have a role in adopting it. We're just really presenting it to the township committee to understand what we're doing. This really will help us as we think about planning for the future. You know, we're spending a lot of effort at the Woodland right now, and that's reflected in here. It talks about how important to save municipal buildings. We are doing a meeting on December 4th, talking about potentially designating a historic district on Ridgewood Road. So these, again, are all found in this element, and it really describes how the Historic Preservation Commission will operate over the next 10 years or so. What are some of the goals that they're going to achieve, and so forth. So really, we wanted to bring it here to see if folks had any questions. We do have the chair of the Historic Preservation Commission here. And if anybody had any questions that you'd like to ask the chair, I'm sure the mayor would allow the chair to come up and answer the questions if you had some.
I don't
I
know.
don't know if the chair wants to do that.
Well,
Begrudgingly.
first, does
Guy.
anybody,
Yeah.
well, we can offer the chair to Daniel. If you have anything you'd like to add to what Mr. DeLuca said, you can go up to the microphone and add anything. So that would be a no. Okay. Does anyone have any questions or comments on it? I think it's great. I'll just note that we got a grant to hire somebody to do this element because it's quite in-depth and a lot of work. So luckily, we didn't have to have volunteers do all of that work, but also I'm sure you had a lot of input along the way.
I thought,
Really interesting. I was just gonna say it's really interesting. Like it's very long, so I didn't read the whole thing yet, but I'm excited to because when I was skimming through it, just reading about the the different architects that have worked on it and the styles of homes, as Mr.
Mhm.
DeLuca said, like it's really cool to read about the history of Maplewood and the look and feel of it. And I don't know, I think it's a
Yeah,
cool, very
it
cool
is. It's
document.
great.
So good
And
job, everybody.
Also, the HPC is starting some tours that I just went on. The first one was a week and a half ago or so at in College Hill. I had to pinch hit a little bit, keep the crowd, but we had like 45, 50 people in there while Mr. Wright was a little bit tardy. So I danced as fast as I could.
And we had about 60 people on Saturday at Ridgewood.
Great.
Wow.
So there's a
I think-
lot of
yeah.
interest.
So yeah, there's a lot of interest, and I think this report really captures, you know, as you said, so much of the history.
Mhm.
And it also has some great pictures. I know Mr. Weary mentioned how he loves looking at the pictures here.
yeah, yeah, because the previous one didn't have any pictures in it. This one is really nice. Yeah.
Okay, anything else on that? Is we're good and it goes to the planning?
I don't
board?
think we have to take any action, right? This is just the information
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
had any feedback, but it does go. I know there were some comments by the planning board, and I believe they're being addressed, right, Mr. Weary?
Couple of minor.
Couple of them, couple of, you know, just tweaking here and there.
That's right.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you could share some of anything
No, minor.
worth mentioning that comments on the report.
Anything
Because
major
it
from the
does
planning
actually, it does make it's many more properties that would be listed in here. Like if you could explain a little bit about that.
Oh, sure. Specifically about the property. So just like in the 2008 master plan, with the 2008 master plan, our municipal code requires that any property listed in the historic element of the master plan, which this is, when they make an application before the planning board, it is referred to the HPC for comment, the advisory comment to the board. And that list was about, how many, 45 properties
It's
maybe?
more than that.
No, it was like 100, I thought.
80?
But then this one was.
And
like
then
1,200.
this historic element has expanded that list to over 1,250. So many more properties, if they make an application, will be referred to historic preservation for comment. That's a good thing for generally for the township. It doesn't lengthen the time of consideration that the planning board has, and the comment from HPC is advisory. So it's really helpful to the board to understand the context of homes that they're considering application for. So, it's one of the tools that we can use, and so to ensure that the planning board is the most informed they can be.
And these aren't properties that are designated, they're just in the
Correct.
report, so then that would trigger this additional look.
They're not designated by the element, so they could be otherwise designated either in a district or individually. But it's not, this process does not designate them as historic, so they don't fall under any of the other requirements of that section of our code for those that are locally designated or those that are locally designated. Yeah.
So one thing is since the 2008 report, there's been surveys done of certain areas. There's been designation of Maplewood Village. So for example, all the addresses in Maplewood Village are in here. And then the survey that was done on College Hill, survey on Gulf Island, survey on Ridgewood Road. So all of those were added here. And then we're about to do some more, we're just got a grant to do Roosevelt Park, and so there are more, and there are more. So some of those that information was generated since 2000. So that's one reason why the list is longer.
And it's 17 years older.
Right.
And I just want to add to my comment that it's applications before the planning and the zoning board.
Yeah,
And that's how it exists currently in our code.
Mhm.
It's not-
So the zoning board will get this information as well? Or they should?
Yes, they
Because
can.
have to
Yeah,
consider it as well
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
additions and
That's right.
variances.
that's right. They can get this. We have someone on staff who makes that referral when they see the property on the list. But we can, so that the zoning board knows of this coming as well, we can give them a copy.
Yeah, I think it would be good.
Yeah, and there were two, go ahead.
Oh, this is not public yet, the report, or
It's
it
not
is?
adopted yet.
It's not adopted.
Once
but-
it's adopted?
It's public.
Yeah, and it's been public
Yeah.
since June, I believe.
Yeah.
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 we-
Yeah, I was asking the questions just to make sure that the public understood,
Mhm.
when they look through here, people sometimes get a little worried about, seeing your address,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and there was some of that at the planning board, and I think there'll be probably some more public comments that we'll have to navigate in the formal planning board action, which is December 9th, I think is the next planning board. The two other concerns that came up in that initial first pass at the planning board was there was some discussion about, what are the criteria that go into designation? And it was made very clear that what is in the new element adopts the existing state preservation criteria, right? So those are the criteria. And yeah, sometimes, some of those elements become subjective, but that's what this is, right? But there are objective criteria and historical context that's taken into consideration to.
And also the Federal Department of Interior guidelines.
Right.
That's what the HPC follows.
Right. And then there was one other concern, which has been a lingering concern, at least from one designated homeowner, that may or may not represent other currently designated homeowners, that, we should be thoughtful in making sure that we're balancing preservation with homeownership rights. Right. And again, I think that was addressed at the hearing, and you can correct me, Mr. Chair, by talking about how there is a lot more information in this new draft than there was in the previous element about that. And even state and federal preservation requirements have become more flexible to accommodate the realities of certain materials no longer being available and resources being expensive and so on and so forth. So there is some more flexibility than there used to be.
Yeah.
That's great to hear, because that's something that I've definitely heard from residents about. So, and even when we were doing the master plan, people were talking about that. So
Mr.
thank
Chair, did
you.
I get that correct? Okay.
Just to remind us all, no property gets designated unless this body designates the property
Right.
through a series of public.
We get the
hearings.
lucky job of making
So,
that
yeah,
final
so
call.
we have the final decision. We make the final decision. The HBC makes a recommendation to us.
Right.
So it's a pretty rigorous process of study about either a district or a house or a structure. And then whatever it comes to us, and there has to be a hearing and a public vote. So there's a lot of safeguards, I think, in having done some of these in the past. I know you go back and forth, and it's a balancing act between the preservation and making sure that you protect the rights of the homeowner.
Yep.
And preserve history as well.
Yep.
So, okay. So with that, we'll move on to the next, the demographic survey of boards and committees, Mr. DeLuca.
So we're into let's see, we've done this for 8 years. I guess it's our 9th year. And just wanted to let everybody know that we'll do it again in December. I believe, Deputy Mayor, you asked for a question this year on the disabled communities to ask if there's, so I'll talk to you. That's what my notes say.
Oh, sure.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you remember, but
I believe that it was asking if there was like a family member or individual representing the disability or neurodiverse community, just for the purpose of, bringing that insight of accessibility.
okay, well, you're going to have to help me come up with a question, because we don't
Okay.
have that question yet. So it would be,
I'll be happy to.
something that we'd have to, and then I'll share this before, just the questions before we ask. Last year, we got 75 responses out of 90 board and committee members that we surveyed, which is an 83% rate. So, and it's very helpful, and it allows us to look at where we can make some adjustments. For example, we've been looking for a while to get more tenants on boards and committees, and we've been doing some of that. So I think this year it'll reflect that some.
And we also have a new committee, so that'll up
That's
our
true. We have
number.
the All Access Committee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
Okay, anyone have any comments on that? It's our annual thing.
thank you for doing that.
Deputy Mayor, you're prohibiting smoking in outdoor cafes and
Yes,
eateries.
thank you very much. Okay, so as you may recall, this first came up at a TC meeting where Mr. DeLuca reported that Sustainable New Jersey was talking about offering points to towns that ban smoking in outdoor cafes. Since this is something we all expressed approval, interest in, it was referred to the Health and Community Services Committee. The committee discussed our town's smoking ordinance and agreed to move forward with it by creating a small working group of myself, Candace Davenport, our health official, and Patrick Weary. Mr. Daffis also joined. And we started off, Ms. Davenport did some research on what the existing state law covers with regard to smoking versus what our code covers. And we discussed different directions that we might take. Overall, this is a policy that Ms. Davenport, our health official, has strongly supported, citing numerous health factors that are affected by secondhand smoke. I will mention also that our senior advisory committee made it be known that they overwhelmingly supported as well, citing health challenges facing older adults, such as asthma. However, our working group had some difficulty in determining, what was covered by the state law, because we do have a very good state law that does cover a lot of smoking in public spaces. And so, basically under state law, you can't smoke indoors, right? And in restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't smoke outside in a way where the smoke might filter in.
Mhm.
So that precludes some outdoor spaces, but not necessarily all of them. So we then held a second meeting, this time with Ms. Credidio and Mr. Weary and myself, and we explored the possibility, like what's possible legally, as well as that, that we could do on a state level to complement the federal law. What we came up with is, instead of addressing our smoking ordinance, we would instead address our outdoor cafe and streeteries parts of the code. And we would update those two parts of the code by inserting in a graph that would say, smoking of any substance, including but not limited to cigarettes, cigars, cigarillos, vapes, and e-cigarettes, is expressly prohibited within the outdoor cafe permitted area, or it would say within the streetery permitted area. And then additionally, the restaurant who owns that cafe or streetery would need to put up a no smoking sign so that residents are aware. And so it's pretty simple to do it this way and would get at what we're trying to do. I would make note that many restaurants in town already ban smoking in their outdoor areas. And so we thank those restaurants for doing that. This ordinance would update and codify this practice townwide.
Okay,
Any questions?
Sounds good.
sounds good to me.
Me
Although
too.
it did just remind me of that we had this leaf blower panel a few weeks ago at the Woodland. And we were talking about how there's always things like, well, comparing a battery blower with a gas blower to see how effective they are and everything. And one person said, well, when we banned smoking in restaurants and bars, we didn't call up Camel and ask what they thought. It was really a good analogy. It just reminded me when you were talking about it, because we banned things that are unhealthy, right?
Yeah.
Especially for people who aren't partaking,
Mm-hmm.
people who are sitting around them. So I'm totally in favor of it. I think it'll be easy pass to amend those ordinances. Ms. Credidio, are you going to work on those amendments?
Are we doing this in December?
We have time if you
yeah.
want to.
We I brought it up for discussion today so that we have 2 meetings
Yep,
to
Great.
get this done.
Excellent.
great. All right. Back to you, Mr. DeLuca.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The Springfield Avenue Partnership made a request to reduce the speed limit on Springfield Avenue from 35 miles an hour to either 30 or 25. Just a little background, Springfield Avenue is part of the state 124 highway system. So it still is a state highway. We have a agreement with the Department of Transportation that goes back to 2001, in that Maplewood has jurisdiction over it. So the 35 miles an hour is the legacy of it being a state highway. And other county highways in Maplewood, Wyoming, Chancellor, Irvington Avenue, those are all 35 miles an hour. Valley, we worked with the county to reduce it to 25 miles an hour, but for a while it was 35 and sections were 30, and then we made it 25 because of the residential nature of Valley. So the partnership had an expert come in from Main Street, New Jersey, and one of the recommendations that person gave us was to take a look at reducing the speed limit. He recommended 30. We talked about this at the Engineering Public Works meeting, and we were informed by our traffic engineers that when they adjusted the lighting, the traffic lights, they adjusted it for 30 miles an hour as it is, so that cars can travel down the road, and the lights are timed so that at 30 miles an hour they would move the traffic and stop at appropriate intervals. We then talked, and so the Engineering Public Works Committee recommended 30 miles an hour, and that's why you see it here like this. We then talked about it at Public Safety, and we asked the chief for his opinion. He did agree that it should be lowered. He felt 30 was the right number because it moves traffic sufficiently. There were some members of the Township Committee on the Public Safety Committee who thought we ought to think about 25 miles an hour. We did talk a little bit about that in engineering, and we kind of settled on 30. So again, I want to raise it. There is a recommendation to go to 30, but there's some feelings that we might want to think about 25 miles. I would say if we can't come to an agreement on what we want to do, then I think what we ought to do is ask our traffic engineers to give us a recommendation between 20 and 25 and 30. I still think 30 is the way to go, but I know there's some people that have an interest in making it even lower, 25. I think I'm sorry. I think we all have an agreement of lowering the traffic. It's just a matter of whether it's 30 and 25.
Yeah, I think 30 makes sense for that street, especially since it is still a way to get from one end of the township to, down to Newark and back again. And I think 25 might be a little too restrictive and counters the traffic engineer's timing of the lights on Springfield Avenue that were timed for 30 miles an hour. What do others think?
I have a
I
couple
agree
of
with the
questions.
30.
I have a couple of questions. Have we spoken with NJ Transit to understand what effect lowering the speed limit would have on the bus schedule, which many people use to get to work?
No, I don't think it will matter at all.
You don't think?
No, no. I think transit does what transit wants to do.
Well, this was brought up to me as something, to make sure that we don't delay our buses because it's important for people to get to work, and I am, do want to respect that. I do know, looking around at Maplewood, and thank you for some of that background on Valley, for example. I think Wyoming is 30.
5.
Wyoming is 35.
Yeah.
Oh, we might want to look at that. Uh, um, do we have other main streets that are 30 or 35? Because
Milburn Avenue's 35.
yeah,
Irvington Avenue's 35.
yeah.
Chancellor, the little stretch of Chancellor.
I think that helps to sort of see like where Springfield fits in relation to those. I want to say overall, I'm really glad that this has been brought up. So I want to commend the Springfield Avenue Partnership and Mr. DeLuca for bringing this up in committees. Yeah, I'm the one who wanted the speed limit to be lower, and I want to explain why, and why I think maybe we should look at Wyoming next. Vehicle speed drastically increases the risk of severe injury or death to a person. At 20 miles per hour, a pedestrian has about 90% chance of survival. So not bad, okay? But this drops to around 50% at 35 miles per hour and below 20% at 40 miles per hour. So clearly, reducing the speed limit from 35 to 30 would be very worthwhile and in the right direction, and I would absolutely support that. But I'll be honest, the reason that I would go further is because when the speed limit is one number, people go higher. And, I just read you the stats about what that means when someone gets hit. And I feel like we have an epidemic here in our town of cars driving fast and of people being hit. There have been multiple people hit just in this past year. And so, we've talked about this earlier about traffic calming and some of the things that we're doing, and I absolutely support all of that. I'm glad we're doing that. I want to do more. Because anytime I hear that somebody in our town gets hit, whether it's a child, whether it's somebody walking their dog, it's unnecessary. So, it was up to me. I would reduce speed limits in other places as well. I would put bumps, I would put stop signs. I would do whatever it takes to get the drivers in our town to pay attention and slow down. So I want people who are driving to take a little more responsibility. I want them to look at their speedometer. Don't think about where you're trying to go. Look at your speedometer and see what the speed limit is. And don't reduce your speed because you see a sign or you see a police officer. Reduce it because someone's kid lives nearby. Someone might be walking their dog. Somebody might be coming home for dinner with their family. And this is important. All of this is important. So I'm glad we're talking about it, and I'm glad that we're going in the right direction by reducing the speed limit. And I'll support anything that reduces it. I'm, again, very happy this got brought up. Thank you.
Ms. Engel, do you have any comments on this?
What she said.
Okay.
No, I'm also for reducing it. I mean, I understand why 25 could be good. I understand why 30 could be good. I'm fine with either, quite honestly. I'm good with 30 for now because the traffic lights are already set to that. It is what our traffic engineers had suggested or talked about in the engineering meeting.
Yeah. And I would just add that it's not always the speed so much as following the rules of the road and being aware, not looking at your phone. So I don't know that reducing speed. I mean, I'm in favor of reducing down to 30, but I think it's more of yielding to pedestrians in a crosswalk and paying attention and not, I think that's where a lot of the issues come up.
It's
We're
all
just-
of it.
We're a distracted country right now in driving. So it sounds like you have support, Mr. DeLuca, to move forward with this.
Mr. Daffis?
Yeah, he's.
Yes.
You said yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So can we introduce this to 30 at the next meeting?
Sure.
Yeah. Works for me.
You good with that?
I think it's on. Oh, now it's on. So.
Yes, I'll just coordinate with the engineer because
Yes.
state statute, when we achieve limit, we are required to get a written traffic analysis. I'll coordinate with the engineer and make sure that we have that in hand, supporting our.
Okay.
Clearly been discussed in the subcommittee with the.
If not, it can go till January.
Yeah. The other thing is that we will notify NJ Transit, in addition to the New Jersey Department of Transportation, that we are reducing it. So Mr. Kittner, just make sure that he does that. Mr. Weary, he'll just let transit know too. And I also spoke to Springfield Avenue Partnership, and we may have some money to do an education campaign about reducing it. We'll put signs up. Right now, we only have one sign up. I think that says 35 miles an hour, but we have some money that we can probably buy some signs and do some a public campaign about it.
Okay, so our last discussion item is community service, allowing community service director discretion to give Maplewood residents priority in registering for certain programs and events. And I know we discussed this at Health and Human, so.
We did. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. So yeah, this is something that we discussed in the Health and Community Services and Arts and Culture Committee. It's also come up in the Senior Advisory Committee, the Recreation Advisory Committee, and even the Pool Advisory Committee. So it's definitely been talked about. Specifically, there are certain programs, camps, and events that our town offers through the Community Services Department that fill up quickly and have wait lists. This is a good problem to have. It means our Community Services Department is offering programming that our community wants. However, we have also heard from Maplewood residents complaining that they were not able to get spots in these desired programs, camps, or events. And as these programs are often subsidized by public funds and/or the manpower or women power of our township employees, it is with the desire to be good stewards of our residents' tax dollars that this item is being brought up for discussion tonight. To be clear, this is not, so this doesn't require an ordinance or a resolution, but since it's a policy directive, that's why it's being brought to the TC for discussion. And also to be clear, we would not be limiting any program, camp, or event to Maplewood only. Some towns, many towns actually do this, and we are absolutely not doing that. What is being suggested is that we would give our community services director the discretion to give Maplewood residents priority in registering for certain programs, camps, and events based on their history. So questions?
Yeah, and she,
Oh, we did this already. I thought maybe 2 years ago, we were giving Maplewood residents like a week or two advanced registration. We talked about this about camp, because there was a certain camp where a lot of Maplewood residents were getting locked out. So I thought we'd already made a policy to allow Maplewood residents to have a shot to register for our
yeah,
programs first.
I don't remember exactly what that was, but I know we discussed it. But I think this came out of some discussion about certain programs where South Orange residents in particular are taking spots that.
Right, we talked about it with, it was involving a art camp that we used to run
Right.
through Maplewood.
Right,
And at that point, we brought it here, we discussed it, we made a policy decision that all of our programs, Maplewood residents should have a chance to register first. So I'm for that, because I believe that our tax dollars do subsidize the programs, and Maplewood residents should have a chance to sign up first, just like Maplewood has to pay a higher fee, I believe, in South Orange, and South Orange doesn't let Maplewood residents sign up for everything. And I was concerned about like the giving the director discretion, like that part of it, I wasn't sure about. So I just think it should be like a all or nothing, personally.
Well, I think discretion is more of, like in the conversation, we talked about like, as it's filling up really quickly and it's past it, so choosing a Maplewood resident over a South Orange resident. Is
I
that
believe it
right?
was for events that had filled, like, some things fill up so quickly, like you can't make a decision in the middle of the registration. It would be, the decision would be made prior to registration. The reason I'm bringing it up now is because we're doing camp registration in January, and we wanted to make sure this was set. So, thank you, Ms. Engel, for bringing up that this had been discussed prior, because I mean, we talked about this with the community services director, and she indicated that this was not something that was in place, and she was looking for the authority to be able to do this.
Yeah, I think the permission and the authority is basically, re-upping what you talked
Yeah.
about.
Now, the other thing that I'll just like flag is we're talking about our popular programs, like I'm assuming Ski Club would be one of them. And on the flip side, flag football, which is a very popular activity, is run through South Orange. And so it could be that Maplewood residents then get shut out of some of the, I don't know if that'll happen. I'm just
Well,
thinking
that-
about repercussions.
Yes, I think there are. a
No,
lot
they
of
can sign up at the same time and so for that program.
Oh, but there are programs that,
Sure, like Maplewood residents can't do the camp at the park,
The Baird
Bear
camp,
Park,
yeah.
the Bear Camp, for
So
example.
that's a particular
But-
thing that came up at the Recreation Committee, the camps situation, because as it stands, only South Orange residents can do the Baird. And so Maplewood residents don't have that option. And they can only do the Maplewood Kids Camp. And when it's sold out, we can't, we're at a capacity issue there because it's at the heart. And we can't open up anymore. And so we end up with Maplewood families who can't get
either.
in. So that was like, that came up in the beginning of the year. And then I think Mermaid Camp was another one. And then throughout the year, and this also came up in the Senior Advisory Committee because they find it with some of their events. And it just kept coming up as a recurring thing, which is why we talked about it in committee and, wanted to, make sure that this is something, especially with these programs that do use public funds and our staff running them.
yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
basically
guess-
giving her the discretion to make that decision without having to worry about backlash to the
Yeah,
department
I
head.
mean, I guess my second question is there's like, because I also thought that Maplewood and South Orange work together with some sports programming. So some things Maplewood runs, some things South Orange runs, so that we don't have competing. I know it doesn't always happen so perfectly and there is some competing now, but so I just worry, let's just thinking about that specific example, ski club and flag football are two very popular things that get filled out within the first like 5 seconds. And so that kind of recreation program was a little different than like the camp programming
Mhm.
or the senior programming. And I just think when you're giving someone like I don't know, I get worried about that word like discretion because I don't know. I feel like sometimes it has to be a little bit black and white. I don't know. So that's just my,
No, I
question.
don't have any problem with that word because we give discretion to our administrator all the time and different department heads. So I have I'm in favor of this, just so.
I mean, there's some camp,
staff can feel
some
comfortable
programs
using that
that,
discretion.
that it's not really applicable to. So I think that's what it was for, because we want to make things open. We know, like, we have friends in other towns, our kids have friends in other towns, and we want them to be open. But, it just, for certain programs, it really comes down to our residents. I think we owe our residents, it's their taxpayer dollars, that are, subsidizing some of these things. And we would love for, other towns to,
Be as wonderful as us.
yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Daffis, Mr. DeLuca?
Yeah, I have a problem with the word discretion. I don't have absolutely any problem. I look at this sentence as two parts of it. The first part of it is with the discretion, I have a problem with. The second part, I don't have any problem at all. It just seems to me that I'm not even sure why we even have to get involved. It just it seems to me that when you have a space limited program, it should absolutely go to Maplewood residents first because you know, so I don't think discretion is a word that I think can be perceived to be abused. I just think as a matter of policy, when you have a limited um, number of participants, it should go to Maplewood residents first. Just, that's it, bingo. You no discretion, that's what happens.
Mhm.
Mr. Daffis?
Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe this should say exactly what Committee Member DeLuca just said. For those programs where we have this capacity issue, Maplewood residents should get priority, period. So we don't have to deal with discretion and could that be abused? What does that mean? So we've done two things with this discussion, which went on longer than I thought for this particular item. Number one, we've made it very clear to Community Services Director that they have the authority to put Maplewood residents first. We've identified certain programs in particular based on capacity and based on registration interest. And we're removing the word discretion and just creating the policy that Maplewood residents will get first priority in those programs and services. Is that helpful?
Yeah, and
That's implementable?
would you like me to comment?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was the intention. The discretion was really just to identify those programs that do max out and then implementing where they would have registration for Maplewood residents and then at a subsequent date, registration for South Orange residents. Those programs that don't sell out, we would open it to both at the same time. So the discretion was in identifying which bucket they fall.
Should use the word identify, not discretion.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay.
Right.
Why can't we open all of our programs to Maplewood residents first? Why do we have to have a what did you say? What word did you use?
Well, I think that there's some
Identify.
difference with like, like you brought up sports, for example, like, like the MSO softball, for example, like it would make no sense to have Maplewood first because everybody can be accommodated.
But other sports, they can't. Like I just said, flag football sells out within the first minute. Like I know that's a South Orange event, but I'm just saying ski club is a sport. It sells out. Some things like MSO softball or things that are volunteer led are different. They do allow all kids to participate, but some don't. There's a limited number of people that can register. So I'm just saying if we're saying that Maplewood residents should have priority, wouldn't it just be easier to say they 24 hours earlier or a week early or whatever it is versus just like, we know this one might sell out, so we should
I
open
think
it up
that's why-
first?
I think that's why the word discretion came, so we didn't have to put a week or 24 hours or whatever timeline on it, that it's a policy that it'll be set. So I would suggest that we ask our administrator to work with the Department of Community Services Director and make
Just make
them
it
feel,
Yeah.
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 thing we have to do.
No, there isn't.
There is nothing we
But
have
there
to
is,
do,
like, the
and
judgment
I was
advocate,
happy
so.
making this
Yeah,
decision in committee, but
there is a certain
You're all
comfort level that
discussing it.
department heads can, would like, let's say, because especially in these programs within the rec department, that there are parents wanting their kid to get in, and then a lot of pushback goes on to the staff where if they know that they have the authority to do it and they're clear on that, then they can do it and not worry about any backlash, because it happens. Parents can be very demanding for their children. Just saying.
thank
All right,
you
we'll move
everyone
off
for your
this.
input.
Thank you. And move to the consent agenda.
Mayor, I'll move the consent agenda.
Can I get a second?
Second,
Mr. Daffis,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Ms. Engel,
Yes.
Ms. Herman,
yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you. Now it brings us to our final public comment on any subject matter open to the public. If there's anyone in the room who would like to come on up to the microphone, please give your name and address. And you have, make sure you speak right into the mic, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wendia Dieudonné. I am a resident of 44th Street. I've lived in this town for about 30 years. Love this town. Some familiar faces. Hi, Mr. DeLuca. And hello to everyone else I'm meeting for the first time. And I guess I'll just jump right in. And Ms. Herman, I want to say thank you for the data that you provided regarding the speeding, at the rate that a car is going from 25 versus if someone gets hit, the likelihood that the person will survive or not. So this brings me right to the topic with, on 44th Street, the town did an amazing job installing speed bumps. However, and I did bring some visuals, if it's okay, if I can bring them up to you. To you. So 44th Street is a one-way in the back of Wawa. And
You can just hand them to Mr. Daffis and he can pass them down
like,
at nighttime.
That's fine.
but the speed limit is 25 on 44th Street, and it is a residential street
Mhm.
versus Boyden Avenue, other streets that are business oriented, and they're 25. If you look at the pictures, you'll see that on Rutgers, the speed limit is 15. Other residential streets, they're 15, but for some reason, 44th Street is 25. I've tried to reach out to see who in the town can just revisit that. There's I believe Maplewood Avenue, there's a speedometer, a radar to monitor the
Mhm.
speed, and also it's lowered to 15. So while we're on the topic of Springfield Avenue and lowering the speed potentially from 30 to 25, I would like to bring up 44th Street. Again, it's right next to Seth Boarding School. We have elderlies. One of our elders, her husband served in Maplewood. He was the town first Black cop. He was honored here when he passed away. And sometimes his wife is not able to cross the street. Sometimes myself, I'm not able to cross the street where cars are flying by. The speed bumps, while they were great, but there are times people know to go around the lower part to bypass the speed bump. So that is something that I would love for the town to visit, to see if there's a way for us to lower the speed on 44th Street, because again, it's a residential street. And I did try to write on there where we'll see Boyden Avenue, actually, there's a part on Boyden Avenue that's 15 miles per hour, despite it being a busy street. And so that's one topic that I wanted to bring up.
Well, before you go on to another, I just want to let you know that I heard Mr. DeLuca click his pen, so that'll be on the next Engineering, Public Works and Planning Committee
That
meeting.
indicates the pin.
Yes. That's progress. Yes.
Yeah, so you came to the right place. We'll talk about that at the next engineering meeting, which is the second Wednesday of the month on Zoom at 8 a.m. You're welcome to come.
December
That's
10th.
December.
Yes. The second Wednesday in December.
December 10th.
December. And the second point and last point that I would like to bring also for 44th Street is the wooded area on 44th Street. It's growing into our property, and unfortunately, we do not have the equipment to stop it. So again, these pictures, but that's our property right here, and where all the woods is growing there, and our equipment is not big enough to,
Do you know whose property it is?
it's the town.
Township?
It's not.
No? Is
No,
it the school?
It belongs to Vanguard,
Hmm.
the company across the Lightning Brook.
When I spoke to the Public Works, or sorry, Engineering, they sent me a map and they said the part towards Chancellor Avenue, and I'm not arguing this is the information I was shared. I was told the part towards Chancellor Avenue belongs to Vanguard, and the part towards Jacoby, closer to our house, belongs to the town. So whoever owns it, it's, again, the wood is growing and our equipment is not strong or big enough, and it's just like slowly migrating over to us.
Sure.
And just if someone can look into that, whether it's Vanguard or the town, that would be very helpful.
Absolutely. We can, thank you for bringing that up. If you leave your name and contact information with our deputy clerk, then we'll look into whose property and your address. And then we'll make sure we find the right ownership, and it will be dealt with by code enforcement to make sure that take that off of your property that's coming over on there. Yeah.
And thank you all for your dedication and leadership to the town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Or if it's ours, our Public Works will deal with it. Mr. Wary, is there anyone on Zoom who would like to speak as you roll your eyes at me? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Name and address, please.
Daniel, right, address is 41 Oberlin Street. I just wanted to share that the Historic Preservation Commission was awarded the Commission Award by Preservation New Jersey.
Mhm.
Several of us from the commission went to the award ceremony in Trenton a week or two ago, and we have a nice big award that I would like to find a place.
But you don't want it in your living room?
I noticed, yes, you have the display, so I'll bring it to Mr. Wary and we can display it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Congratulations. That's great.
Congrats.
Yeah, we have a few historic buildings.
Yeah, we could put it in one of them, actually. Is there anyone on Zoom who would like to address the Township Committee?
If anyone joining on Zoom would like to address the Township Committee, please raise your hand. No one has raised their hand, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move it.
Second.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca?
Yes.
Ms. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes, thank you. Have a good evening, everyone, and we'll see you on December. What's the next meeting?
Second.
Second. All right.